Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome if you're new here. If you are new and this is the first video that you're watching, hi, my name is Shan from HomeWithShan over on Instagram. This is baby George, who is 4 months old. I cannot believe I have a 4-month-old, but in today's video we're going to be talking about his 3 to 6 month baby routine. And the reason I've titled it that, he's only 4 months, but from research that I've done, basically I'm pretty sure this will be roughly his sort of sleeping, feeding, general routine throughout the day. Anything that I mentioned in the video I'll link down below, and I'll also just do a little list of his routine if you just wanted to like copy it or just view that instead of watching the video or whatever. But yeah, so I will do all of that in the description box for you. But let's crack on and just talk about George's routine. It is a very straightforward one, nothing complicated, and he's really predictable, which is so nice. So nice, isn't it? Most of the time. Obviously this is our ideal routine that probably takes place 8 out of 10 times, I would say. So yeah, it is pretty good, aren't you, babe? Yeah, you are. So just to caveat all of this with, obviously I'm a first time mum, I'm not entirely sure if any of this is correct, but based on research and all of that kind of stuff, and George is sort of leading the way in terms of what he wants, that kind of thing. So that's how I'm kind of basing this routine off of. So babies between the age of 3 to 6 months need about 14 to 17 hours sleep in a 24-hour period. So obviously the younger they are, it's closer to the 17, and the older they are, it's closer to the 14. So George is about 4 months, well, he is 4 months, and he is about sleeping, I would say, 16 hours a day, but George is having awake windows of about 2 hours in between his naps. So sometimes it's an hour and a half, sometimes it's even 2.5 hours, but they say roughly between an hour and a half and 2 hours is a really good awake window to have, especially for a baby at this age. So that's kind of what I'm basing it on, and that is exactly when I can tell George is about to get tired, after that 2 hour mark. Another thing I would say before we get into the routine is basically his routine is based off of when he wakes up. I don't wake him up in the mornings to get into the routine. If he wakes up at 9 o'clock, his routine starts at 9 o'clock. If he wakes up at 7 o'clock, his routine starts at 7. So normally he wakes up at 8 o'clock or 8:15 or 8:30. That's sort of his general when his body clock wakes up. But if he wakes up earlier, he wakes up earlier. If he wakes up later and gives us a lie-in, which is lovely, then we just start it from there. So like I said, it kind of goes from those awake windows, if you will. So starting off when he wakes up, generally George is really good throughout the night, and he doesn't wake up at all for a bottle or anything like that, and he'll wake up about 8 o'clock. What I'll do is bring him into his room, which is where we are now, and then I will change his nappy, because it's generally quite full at that point, because he does sleep through the night. I don't change it during the night at all, unless he obviously wakes up and he needs changing, but generally we don't change him in the night. And then I'll go downstairs and prep him a bottle. In order for him to be a little bit occupied whilst I put him down and make the bottle, I'll pop him in his bumbo. It's like a little entertainment centre. It keeps him occupied for about 5 to 10 minutes whilst I'm making his bottle. So I'll make his bottle with the Tommy Tippy prep machine, and I'll come back in and I'll give him a little cuddle. That is definitely one of the feeds where I like to cuddle him up. It's the first feed of the morning. Like, even in the night I miss him, it's ridiculous. So I'll cuddle up with him and give him a little feed. Obviously then he'll be finished within about 20 minutes normally. Then basically we'll just have a little chat, we'll have a little play, we'll play on his play mat, which he adores. We'll maybe pop something on the telly, like some sensory stuff. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just play with like the muslins or some of his teethers and things like that. As you can tell, he's teething like hell at the moment, so anything with teethers he's very much enjoying at the moment. And then it gets to about 10 o'clock, so say he woke up at 8 o'clock, gets to 10 o'clock, and that's when he's 100% ready for a nap, and he starts to get quite tired, pulling on his eyes, sometimes his ears, and just generally he just looks tired. So that is when we like to put him down for a nap. And when we put him down for a nap, we always put him in his bedroom now. Because we've got the baby monitor set up now, I feel comfortable leaving him in this room rather than having to sit in the room with him whilst he's napping. Obviously when he was younger, that's what I used to do, and I could never get anything done unless I was in that room. But now we've got the baby monitor set up, he goes into his big boy crib, which he doesn't sleep in at night. He goes into his cot during nap times, and I just put him in his love to dream swaddle. And because he's 4 months old now, we're putting him in his transitional swaddle. So basically one arm is out and one arm is in, and it's getting him used to having his arms free without just going from swaddling to no swaddling. So we're going for the transitional swaddle, which is working really, really well. First couple of days we had a bit of a hiccup, which was when I thought he was going for his 4-month sleep regression. But since then, since like he's got used to it now, it seems that he's totally fine with it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that is going to be fine. And then he'll generally have a nap for about 2 hours, which is amazing. Sometimes his dummy comes out and he wakes up a little bit, but he never opens his eyes. He just sort of tosses and turns until you pop the dummy back in. And obviously with the monitor, we can hear him constantly and we can see him on our phones. So we can just pop up, don't interact with him, we don't pick him up or anything like that. We just pop his dummy back in and he'll go back to sleep, which is amazing. I think another reason that he's really good at napping in the day and sleeping generally is we've got the You and the Dream Sheep. We've also now got another white noise maker, which is exactly the same kind of concept as Ewan. Someone got it for us for Christmas. It's just really handy because we've now got one in George's room and we've got one in our room. We've got Ewan in our room for the night time, and then we've got, I think it's Ollie the something owl in here, and I'll pop a little picture up on the screen or I'll link it down below. But those white noise machines, or the cuddly toys or whatever that play white noise, and also they have the cry sensor, so if he cries or noise goes off or the dog barks or something, it will go off, which is really, really helpful because it helps him to sleep for longer. And then at about 12 o'clock I'll hear him start to sort of move around in his cot, and obviously that will alert me on my phone, so I'll see that and I'll think, right, okay, it's 12 o'clock now, he's going to wake up fairly shortly. I'll make a bottle ready for him, and then I'll get him all, you know, ready and set up. Well, I'll get downstairs set up for him basically. And normally this is around the time that I'm wanting to have some lunch or doing something downstairs, usually prepping lunch for myself. So I will get him, change his nappy again, get him out of his swaddle, wake him up nicely and take him downstairs, and I'll pop him in his bouncer with a rolled up muslin and his bib. And then I'll pop the bottle and sort of prop feed him basically. Now I know a lot of people worry about prop feeding, but the only reason you would ever have to worry about prop feeding if you left the baby on their own whilst they were prop feeding. Because of course, if the baby for some reason couldn't get the bottle out of their mouth and, you know, it was just coming out, that's not going to end well. But if you are in the room, if you know, you can see that they're struggling or something, exactly the same as if you were holding them, then you could just take the bottle out of their mouth, as long as you don't leave them on their own, which you would never, well, I'd like to think that no one would ever really leave a baby on their own in the house generally anyway. I certainly wouldn't, because we've got a cat and a dog and it would just be crazy. But obviously in George's room, we've got the monitor and the door's always shut, so nothing could happen like that. But anyway, I'll prop feed him whilst I'm eating my lunch, which is really, really nice, so that I can actually eat, just to make sure that I've got enough energy and stuff so that I can actually function to look after him. I feel like it's really important to take care of yourself as well as the baby. And then that's his awake window, which is actually right now. So he's awake, as you can tell. Normally all he likes to do is play with his teethers, essentially, because he is properly teething. He's dribbling all over my hand right now. The thing I really love about this teether though is you can put the Bonjela gel or any kind of teething gel on the little grooves that they've got in here. Let me show you, hold on. So the little grooves on the back, it also helps them to relieve the pain that they've got in their little teeth, but it's really good for holding the gel, and they can munch on that, and that can sort of numb the area if they are in any pain. So then at about 2 o'clock, George will go down for his second nap. So that again is about a 2-hour-long nap, and if he ever does wake up during the nap, I'll just pop his dummy back in and he'll straight away be conked out. He never wakes up to the extent where he is like awake. If he's awake, his eyes are open and he's awake, nap over, we'll try again a little bit later. But generally we don't have that issue, and we kind of just have a 2-hour-long nap, which is fabulous. It lets you get on with some stuff in the house, maybe some housework, maybe doing a video if you're someone like me, or whatever else you have to do during the day. Some just life admin sometimes. It's hard to do when you've got the baby next to you. Then it'll get to 4 o'clock, and that's when he will wake up again, nappy change, and he'll have another bottle. This is the bottle again. I like to have a little cuddle, a little play with him, obviously after he's finished eating. He will have finished his bottle at about 4:30, and then at about 5:30 or 5 or 5:30, I like to give him a bath, because I feel like that's the perfect time for George in his routine, for him to be at the perfect like middle stage of not too tired yet, because his nap time's not until 6 o'clock. He's also had his bottle about an hour and a half beforehand, so it's had enough time to go down, so he's not going to feel sick or anything in the bath. He's not tired, so I kind of think for him it just works, and he loves the bath. It's so sweet. He's such a happy baby when he's in the bath. I mean, he's such a happy baby generally, but he adores the bath. It's so sweet. Then when he's nice and clean and everything, I'll pop his nappy on, pop his sleep suit on, so he'll get out of his sort of outfit of the day, and then pop his sleep suit on and get him all calm and ready for his final nap of the day, which is at 6 o'clock-ish, 6, half 6, and then he'll go down for that nap, and then he'll go down until about 8, let's say. Then at about 8 o'clock, 8:30, we'll give him his final bottle of the day. Obviously wake him up, change his nappy, give him his final bottle of the day. I like to try and leave this to as long as possible, so 8:30, 9 would be ideal, just so that he goes from 9 o'clock then, from out without having a bottle, all the way until the 8 o'clock in the morning the next day. He's generally fine with this. Even if we give him his last bottle at 8 o'clock, generally it goes until the following 8 o'clock. But I'm always conscious that a baby without food for 12 hours, they might be really hungry in the morning, which, you know, doesn't make for a fun morning if they're screaming their head off waiting for that bottle to be ready. After that final bottle, we'll probably give it about half an hour, 45 minutes to make sure the bottle's gone down, and then we'll pop him to bed, and that will be bedtime for him. Because we're still downstairs at that point in time, I like to put him in his cot in his bedroom, so we've got the baby monitor ready, so that we can see him downstairs. If he cries or if he moves or anything, if sounds detected at all, we can see that instantly from our phones and hear it on the baby monitor in the kitchen. So that's where we put him when he goes to bed. But obviously when we then go to bed ourselves at maybe like 11 o'clock, I'll just pick him up from his cot, make sure it's all nice and dark so he doesn't wake up or anything, and pop him down in his next to me crib so that he's in our room with us. So from about 9 o'clock he will sleep through until 8 o'clock, 8:15. Today he got up at 8:15 for example. You know, that's very, very common. Sometimes I would say he has never woke up outside of the 7:30 to 9:30, like 2-hour window. He'll always wake up in the middle of that somewhere, and generally it's 8 o'clock. We're so lucky he doesn't wake up at all in the night. We had a little touch and go last week where I thought maybe he was regressing a little bit when it came to his sleep, but that has completely gone. So that just might have been a couple of nights where he was struggling with his teething or something, I'm not sure. But he is absolutely a golden child when it comes to sleep. A golden child generally, I mean, obviously I'm gonna say that, but when it comes to sleep, we are so, so lucky. Even if George does wake up in the middle of the night, it's not a I need food, I wake up kind of thing. He's never wide awake. He's just sort of tossing and turning and maybe a little bit uncomfortable, and I'm pretty sure it's a teething thing, or maybe the start of the 4-month sleep regression, but we shall see. He's generally really, really good. We never feed him in the night or anything like that, unless, you know, I would if he seemed like he was hungry, but that hasn't happened since before he was 6 weeks old, so we don't tend to offer him a bottle in the middle of the night anymore. Usually we just pop his dummy back in, because that's the only time he ever cries or tosses and turns, is when his dummy's not in his mouth. Pop his dummy back into his mouth, and hopefully that'll be that, and he'll be ready until 8 o'clock in the morning, and mummy can get some sleep. So yeah, that is our 3 to 6 month routine. Like I said, hopefully this does last until he's 6 months. I might not be right, but hopefully it does. I'll keep you updated if it changes, of course. But I like to do a routine like this maybe every 3 months, or so. Obviously I did a newborn routine type video. It was like a day, more of a day in the life video, so check that out if you want to. I'll link it down below. And then hopefully in the future I can do a 6 to 9 month video, and then a 9 to 12 month video potentially. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go and have a little play with George, because he's really wanting this teether, but you can't hold it, can you, babe? Okay guys, I'll see you in the next video. Love you lots. Bye. What's this, George? Say goodbye to everyone. Say goodbye to your monkey. Bye.